I would like to spend a moment telling you how I see people. My name is Magdalena. I am an educated clinic psychologist, but I spent my whole career life working as a teacher and also working with people with disabilities. And I truly enjoy working with people. I'm a person who has a lot of problems, who has a very deeply thinking, introverted mind. And sometimes I feel like I will go insane in this world. It feels like the whole world is on the brink of insanity, and it feels like it can just simply crumble into it at every given moment. There are so many techniques we are subjected to every single day that have just one purpose: to steal our attention, steal our time, and redirect it to the product. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of products we don't need. So the sellers have only one thing they can do. They need to create a need in our minds, a need that wasn't even there. And then they need to create in us a feeling of want. And it helps if they can also connect the products to our values so that they can convince us that we don't have actually these values strong enough in ourselves. We need a product to remind us of our values. There are so many techniques used on us every day to convince us which side of the table, political table, is right and which side is wrong. And none of the sides actually wants us to think too clearly. There are a lot of workplaces where we are encouraged or forced to work faster than we would like to work faster than we feel comfortable. There are a lot of bosses who don't really want their employees to be comfortable or at peace. They need to be a bit stressed, because being a bit stressed can actually make you work more effectively. There are a lot of working places when you are asked to do something which is simply not fair. What I'm trying to say is that this world got truly complicated, and what bothers me the most in it is that it is us people who created it this way, because we do too many things without thinking of the consequences. But that's not what I want to talk about in this podcast. I would like to talk about people and how incredibly wonderful they are, how perfect they are exactly the way they are. And I don't mean that they don't need to grow or learn, no. I mean that they don't need any physical object that will complete them. I want to talk about how I see humanity, and I feel very humble when I say that, because part of my brain screams, but Magda, you are just a very, very simple and stupid person, to be honest. This is how I see myself. So what makes you think that there's anybody who would like to listen to how you see humanity? Right. But I'm driven by this burning need to share with people how I see people, and to share some techniques which I found, I learned in the course of my psychological studies, or I built by myself, or I found in books or in courses, on how to actually find a moment of peace in our lives, and how to go back to sanity. If you are, dear listener, like me, and sometimes you just feel that you are on this thin line between being sane and being insane. I just want to make one thing clear. When I use the word insane or insanity or crazy or other words like that, I don't mean to offend, of course, anybody in any way. I'm not using these words in any psychological context. I'm just referring to insanity, how I understand it, by simply losing my own mind in the world that I live in today. I call this podcast Home and Heart Methods, maybe because I'm a very introverted person, so my heart and my home are two places where I feel most comfortable in. And I'm never bored there. I'm never bored when I'm alone. I'm never bored in my home. I'm never bored when I'm just simply somewhere among people, but I am actually deep in my heart. I believe that they can also be one and the same, our heart and our home. And very often, home has nothing to do with people we are related to, with all the love we have for people we are related to. You know, I met a teenage girl once. She was my student because I was a teacher. I spent my whole adult life working as a language teacher. I met a teenage girl once, and she told me that she is ugly. And I remember I was looking at her. She was 14 years old, wearing only black clothes. She had a simple, beautiful face. Like, I mean, for me, every honest human face is very beautiful, and her face was also very beautiful. She had two eyes, a normal, regular nose. She had mouth. She had two cheeks. She had black hair that was quite short to her shoulders. She was wearing a dark hoodie and she was wearing some jeans. And she was sitting in front of me and she was saying, "You know what? Yeah, we can talk about this picture, but I will not talk about my look. I'm very ugly." And I was sitting there thinking, how is that possible that the whole world doesn't stop right now? That the whole world isn't shocked and doesn't stop right now simply to witness this moment and to tell her, "What are you talking about? You are a beautiful human being." But then I realized that even if I try to tell her that, "But what are you talking about? You're a beautiful human being," she will just look at me with this, teenage, typical teenage look, and she will go, "Uh-huh," and she would never believe me. So I thought, okay, I understand. I'm a teacher. I'm not her, anybody close to her, like not anybody close to her heart, maybe. So maybe she'll trust somebody else, right? She'll trust a parent or a best friend. But then I realized that no, even if her mother or father told her, "But you are very beautiful," she would look at them with this teenage look and then she would go, "Uh-huh." And if a best friend told her, she would probably do something like, "No, come on, come on, let's talk about something else." So I was sitting there and I felt struck by my own helplessness. Because to be honest, I couldn't think of one person in the whole world who could convince this teenage girl that she is not ugly. And then I thought, okay, so who convinced her that she's ugly in the first place? And the answer that sounds very trivial, like the answer, well, the whole world did. Commercials did. Magazines did. The internet did. It seems so trivial and shallow because there's nothing wrong with internet itself. Any form of product like a cream or mascara, but the whole world, of advertising, of cosmetic advertising, clothes advertising, the whole world of movie stars and music stars and bands and singers and models and all the glamorous world that we see on the pages of, well, maybe not on the pages of magazines anymore, because who buys magazines nowadays? But on the internet, it's so powerful that there's nothing I can do to counteract it. Because this whole world, it sells a vision of peace and happiness through beauty, a vision of wealth through beauty, right? But the funny thing is that when we are born, we have it. I mean, inside us, we have this peace and this beauty and this wealth, maybe not physical wealth, but we have this, we are complete, we are full. So for me, every face that is without any form of makeup is extremely beautiful and extremely interesting. If you look at the people around you, young or old, big or small, thin or round, If you look at the faces, there's so much beauty there. If you look at people's eyes and how they move their mouth when they talk, and how the face is enlightened, is full of light, but the light is coming from somewhere within, right? You can see that if you've ever had the misfortune of seeing somebody who is not alive anymore, somebody dead, you can see that this face doesn't look like a person anymore. The person is gone, right? The spark is not there anymore. But as long as the spark is in the body, it just shines through the face the most, because this is the part we show the world the most, right? Our face. And there's so much beauty in there. If you look at your own face in the mirror, can you see how interesting it is? How every part of it reflects your entire being. How much story lies there beyond those lines. And how amazing it is that the face is changing. It's changing together with you. So I really like people's faces. And it makes me very angry when I find any marketing mechanism that is based on teaching people we are not good enough. You know, I went 2 times in my life to get some professional advice connected to my look. One time I went to the stylist who offered me a free makeup connected with some advice, right? Advice on the type of my skin and what products I should use. Of course, she was representative of one cosmetic company, but the meeting was free. So, I thought, what do I have to lose? And I was 20-something years old. And the second time, I went one time in my life to a professional bra fitter, a person, who helps you fit your bra and find the best bra for you. Because it was also some a special offer in a bra shop, that there's a professional person there, somebody who finished all the courses, and only on this day you can go there and you can get some help for free. And that was also when I was 20-something years old, so it was almost 20 years ago. And I remember that on this meeting with a stylist, she did an amazing makeup, to be honest, on me. I've never seen such a beautiful face taped to my face. It wasn't me, it wasn't my face, but it was extremely beautiful on this very, beautiful but not interesting. It was actually pretty boring because it looked like every other face on the street. But okay, it was there. But what I remember the most is that she looked at my face and she said, oh, 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 oh. Right? So I looked at her with worry deeply embedded in my eyes, and I asked, oh, what? And she said, well, you have this small reddish spot on your red cheek, and it's like it's always there, but don't worry, it's not a big defect. And I remember this word defect. And I looked in the mirror and I looked very carefully and I realized that she's right. I have on my left cheek, right under my eye, I have a spot that is maybe as big as a tip of a finger. I have a spot that is a bit reddish. It's more red than the rest of my face. If you look very, very closely, you could see a slight difference of shade, a slight difference in a skin color. And I swear to you, my dear listener, I had never noticed it before. And I'm absolutely convinced that if I hadn't gone to the stylist, I wouldn't be aware of it until this day. And I would be completely happy with my own face, and I would never know that I have a defect. But don't worry, it's not very big. We have this product here, this one product. If you use it regularly, you will cover it right up. And then I realized that the meeting wasn't actually free, that there's price to be paid. And the price is pretty high because it's my positive self-image, my self-acceptance. I went to this lady thinking that there's nothing wrong with my look. I was just curious about makeup. I left her place knowing that I have a defect. It might sound like a trivial story, and some women may think, well, Magda, how is it possible that you survived until being 20 something without realizing that there is something wrong with your face? Because nowadays, girls much younger than you, they already know it, right? They already know that they have reddish spot here, and they have something wrong with their nose, and they have something wrong with their eyes, and they should definitely do something about their eyebrows. Everybody in the world, actually every woman, should do something about their eyebrows, natural eyebrows. Stop being natural. But I think it happened because I grew up in the world without internet. I remember when I was a child, we didn't have internet in my home. So I think that helped. I think that helped me a lot. The story may sound a bit silly or trivial, but it's actually very important for me because I must admit, in all honesty, that my self opinion changed a bit on that day. It got a bit lower because I got like a new piece of information, new piece of puzzle, right? I have a red spot on my face that never disappears. It's a pretty big and I should cover it up. So this new piece of information is forever embedded in my mind because this woman made me think that it's very important, that it's something I should work on, that is something I should change. So she turned this small reddish spot into a real defect that embedded itself in my self image and changed it. That's why I believe that such free makeup meetings aren't actually completely free. And the second story is connected to my visit at professional bra fitter who looked at my breasts and then she said, well, your left breast is a bit bigger than your right breast, but oh, don't worry, it's not a big defect. And I swear she used the same word. And as you probably guessed, I had never noticed it before that my left breast is a bit bigger than my right breast. And it's not a big defect. And to be honest, I would never even use this word to describe myself before. Never before in my mind had a thought appeared that I may have defects. I mean, I noticed some things, of course, that are very imperfect in my look, like a lot of things, to be honest, but I never considered them defects. I just considered them my features. This is who I am. This is part of my look. And those two women, they were, in a way, an authority in my mind. And it took me, to be honest, a lot of years to get over the shame I felt that how can I have, a red spot on my cheek? And how dare I show it to the world and not cover it with makeup? And I know until this day, I look at the mirror and I see this reddish spot on my cheek and I remember that woman and her words, that it's not a big defect. How horrible it is to tell people such things. How can you build your business on telling people such things? How can you build your business on convincing people that it's their job to cover their true face because it's defective? So, when I was looking at this 14-year-old girl, who was sitting in front of me and telling me that she's ugly, I felt there is absolutely nothing I can do to convince her at that particular moment that she's wrong. There is just somebody else's opinion, somebody who has some agenda in convincing her that she is. I stopped wearing makeup completely about 10, maybe 10 years ago. And I had two reasons to do that. And the first reason was that I felt that my face is so ugly and disgusting that no makeup will help here. Now, when I look at the pictures of my face when I was 20 something years old, I can't believe how horribly I was thinking about myself. If you have some photos of yourself, doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, from 10 or 15 years ago, can you look at them? Do you remember what was your opinion about your own look? When you look at these pictures now, can you see that this is just a normal, beautiful person, just a normal human being? But back then, of course, I didn't see that. So I stopped wearing makeup completely because I thought, okay, Magda, you are so ugly. Just be honest, okay? Let's just be honest. You are so disgusting. There's nothing anybody can do here to help it. So let's just stop wearing makeup altogether. Let's just forget about it. And the second reason was that I felt like, okay, if I'm so disgusting, that I will stare every day on this horrible face I see in the mirror, on this monstrous face. I will stare at it every day until I learn to like it, and then I will learn to love it. I will do that every single day. I will see the truth. I like the truth. There's nothing in the world I love more than objective truth. So I thought I will apply this point of view to my face because I like the truth. So I will stare at this truth every day until I love it. That was my motivation, that I'm so disgusting that I'll just love this disgusting truth. And a few years went by, and to my surprise, suddenly, people started to give me compliments about my face. That was completely makeup free, like 100% makeup free. I don't use any makeup at all. And suddenly I started hearing things like, well, Magda, of course you're not wearing makeup. You have such nice skin. Well, of course you're not wearing makeup because you have such nice, eyelashes and eyebrows. They are dark, so you don't need makeup. I felt like I went crazy. I felt like I somehow got transported to a virtual reality. I was thinking, what the hell is going on? Why would anyone tell me that I'm pretty? I never heard such comments when I was wearing makeup, to be honest. So I was looking at people and I couldn't believe that what I'm hearing. And then I realized that the first reason is that when you don't wear makeup, people need to find a reason why. Their brain needs to find a justification because there need to be a logical reason why, right? And nobody in their right mind would think, well, of course, one day she was standing in front of the mirror and she decided she's so disgusting that she would stop wearing makeup because she loves the truth. So she will simply learn to accept the truth and then she will learn to love it because it will be like a philosophical journey for her. Well, nobody, right, in the right mind would think that. So people just thought, well, yeah, of course you're not wearing makeup because you don't need it. And when a few more years went by, and I turned 40, I started hearing from a lot of people that I don't look 40. I mean, I heard these comments before. To be honest, every time you go somewhere with no makeup, I'm pretty sure people will think you are younger, you actually are. But also I realized that after years, like 10 years of not wearing makeup, my skin looked completely different. I remember when I was 30, I had these first lines in the corners of my eyes. And now, of course, I have lines, but not as deep. It's like those lines I was seeing there, they somehow disappeared. I have the small, very, very delicate lines that seem completely natural. But my skin looks, in my eyes, 10 years younger than it looked 10 years ago. Because whatever the cosmetics companies will tell us, of course, we are putting in our faces chemical products, right? It is chemical product. It is chemistry. And the human skin was not built for that. Human skin wasn't created to be covered by chemical substances. And of course, no matter what cosmetic companies will tell us, It is physical layer on our face that pulls the skin down, because this is how physics work. It just pulls the skin down. And to be honest, after I stopped using makeup, after 10 years, I look younger than I did 10 years ago. And I definitely feel better, and I definitely saved a lot of money. But what is most important for me, it's like this thought of being beautiful or being ugly. It somehow disappeared from my mind. If somebody asked me, I would say, yes, I think I'm ugly. I think I'm ugly from a lot of people's point of view, because a lot of people have just one point of view on what is beauty. And there is this photoshopped, perfect, symmetrical image we can see in commercials, right? In advertisements that doesn't even resemble a real woman. And actually, if people judge me this way, I want to know that. I want them to do it fast, because I don't have that much time on this world, and I don't want to spend it with people who judge me by my appearance and decide that they like me or not like me, judging on the makeup. But also, every time I wore makeup, I felt like I'm not honest. I felt, in a way, not to sound overly dramatic, but I felt kind of dead. Like I'm not really existing there in the world. I'm just showing a mask that is not really me. I'm still thinking, sometimes about this 14-year-old girl who was sitting in front of me, a beautiful, natural, normal girl, just sitting there in front of me and telling me that she's ugly. And if I wanted to give her any advice right now, I would tell her to go into her heart and work very hard on liking herself, and put all the energy she can into finding methods how to counteract all these negative thoughts that are created by marketing techniques. I think I would tell this girl to take this self-work very seriously, this work on how to find methods to fight back, to fight this influence that we are subjected to, the influence that comes from the outside world, to take it very seriously and to make it one of the most important elements of the life, to look for techniques and to build techniques, how to find peace, a bit of peace in our hearts, and how to fight this marketing influence. And not only marketing influence, how to fight all the noise, visual, auditory, all the noise we are subjected to from the moment we step out of our house, because it's not there to help us. It's there to distract us and redirect our attention to the product. And 9 out of 10 cases, it's a product we don't really need. If we find methods on how to find peace in our hearts, first of all, we will find peace, right? Second of all, we will have a chance to think more clearly and to make decisions that are more rational, a bit more rational, like what product we want to buy, what product we don't want to buy. We can free ourselves from a lot of false beliefs, and we can save a lot of money by not spending it on products we don't need, and products that don't actually give us happiness. They give us illusion of happiness. We may get free from this illusion. And when we save a lot of money, suddenly we may discover that we could work 2 or 3 hours less in a month. We don't need to work that many hours. We can actually cut our work a bit, because we don't need that much money, because we don't buy that many products. And suddenly, this way, we are buying back our own time, which is the biggest treasure of our lives. One of the reasons why I don't wear makeup is because I know that I will save a lot of money. And that means that I can work maybe maybe 1 hour shorter in a month, and this 1 hour, that's mine. I can be free in this hour, and I can sacrifice makeup for that. And if there are men who will judge me by me not wearing makeup, I want to know it now. I want them to do it now. I want them to judge me now and just disappear from my life forever. Because why would I ever want to build a relationship with a man who's judging me on my makeup, right? And I know that one of the arguments that people use is that, well, yeah, because our brain is just wired this way that we like beauty, and that's why pretty people have easier life and so on and so on. But from my perspective, it's like the whole concept of beauty is completely distorted in our minds. We don't consider beautiful what is truly beautiful. We consider beautiful what is stereotypical, perfectly symmetrical image that is created on the computer in Photoshop or some other program, because this is the image we are being fed every single day. I remember my partner, he was watching a movie with me and he looked at the actress, because there's an American actress he really liked, and he said, look, she's so beautiful. And I told him, well, if you put me in a room with 3 stylists, who would spend 2 or 3 hours putting all the thousands of types of makeup on me, and then you put me in a room that has like 20 people working on lights so that the light shines perfectly on my face in a perfect spot. And then if you recorded the same scene 20 times, right, just to be sure that I look perfect in this particular scene. And then if you took that image on the computer and you even fixed the smallest defects that can be found there, and then you fed that image to the public and say, look, this is natural woman, then yes, I agree with you, she's very beautiful. I don't really see people's skin. I see the light. I know it sounds kind of silly, I see the light, but when I talk to somebody, I just get so full of joy that I'm talking to a human being, and he's so incredible for me. He or she, this person, has such incredible qualities and personality, and all that is just like a light in my mind, really. Sometimes I have like light in my mind when I meet another person, and I stand there and I think, wow, wow, it's such a beautiful human being, because all this personality and these emotions, oh my God, people are so full of emotion all the time, and it ebbs and flows, and they never give up. No matter what happens, they never give up. And they are, yes, very often so full of pain, but they meet me and they smile because they don't want me to feel bad. And I would like to tell them, please just show me your pain if you want to, because don't force yourself to smile if you don't want to. But they do that because they are so incredibly strong. People who are sensitive, people who are in pain, they consider very often themselves weak. But they are, from my perspective, the strongest people, because they don't give up. They are in pain and they still have strength to get up in the morning. Where do they find it? This strength not to give up if you are sad or in pain or lonely, if you are lost, if everything seems completely illogical in your life, if you have no direction, maybe you have a job but you feel that it's just going nowhere, maybe you cannot reach your goals and you just feel that you will never find the reason why, maybe you don't even know what your goals are, maybe you lost a relationship, maybe you're just in pain and you have no idea why, but you still don't give up, and you still, deep in your heart, you still have hope, and you keep fighting, and sometimes you keep winning. This beauty, it always shines through the face. And when I meet people, I see that, and I never see makeup. makeup only, it gets in the way. It bothers me because I just want to see the human being. So maybe there is a small chance that this girl I'm talking about, she's now much older, of course, but maybe she's listening by some miracle to this podcast. And I think this is exactly what I would like to tell her now. And this is also what I would like to say to everybody, whoever, for 1 second, if he or she is a man or a woman, whoever you are, if you thought for 1 second that you were ugly, this is exactly what I would like to tell you. You have no idea how much beauty you have under your skin. How incredible it is that you are still here in this world that is so difficult to live in. And you still have hopes, and you still have dreams, and you build things, and you keep searching, and you never ever give up. Even if you fall, you don't lose hope. And even if you lose hope, you don't lose it forever. So please keep being yourself and remember that you are really incredibly beautiful. And all this outside noise, these commercials about makeup, about that you need to make yourself beautiful for another person, but you are so full of this incredible light. There's really nothing you need to do to make it more colorful with makeup. You just need to find techniques to let it shine. Thank you so much for listening. Please, if you have any thoughts, please feel free to leave them in the comment. I would really love to hear what you think. Because I am a very highly sensitive person and all the time I worry that I may hurt somebody's feelings, I would like to make sure that we all understand that using words like I'm crazy or I'm insane, I use it in the most, everyday meaning. We use them every day. And if you are, my dear listener, somebody who works actually in the cosmetics marketing, I apologize if I hurt your feelings, but my point stands. My opinion stands. I believe it is important to make sure that we don't hurt anybody's feelings. But it's also very important to speak your truth, even if you sometimes do. Speak your truth in the most, of course, respectful way, but speak your mind. Thank you for listening. My name is Magdalena, and you are listening to Home and Heart Methods. I hope to see you in the next episode.